Welcome to Showing Off with Brian Newman and Angie Pontani, the podcast where we peel back the curtain, kick open the dressing room door, and get into the scene behind the scenes in the showbiz journey. Hey, what's up, babies? Welcome back to Showing Off with Brian Newman.
And Angie Pontani.
We're so excited. We got another great, fabulous guest this week. But today we're going to talk about some higher education kind of stuff.
Brian is doing a little Rodney Dangerfield back to school.
Back to school. I'm doing it online.
Yeah, but tell him why. So you went to...
I went to Cincinnati Conservatory of Music in 1999 to 2003. And I dropped out of school to move to New York to pursue my dream of becoming a musician.
But how far were you from getting your diploma?
16 credits.
16, and that's not
credits.
A lot.
I mean, it would have taken me a whole year the way that like the classes were laid out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was like some classes you could take first quarter. That was when it was on quarter system. Anyway, I would have had to stay for third quarter that year to finish everything off. And thank God I didn't, because I moved to New York and the timing wouldn't have been right for me to meet Gaga and meet all the people that I met. And
But fast forward now, you've been saying that you want to get
I've been saying that I wanted
degree.
to do it. So like last summer, I met with the dean of admissions. The dean of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music in New York. They do a lot of stuff in New York. And I was just like, man, what do I got to do? I just want to get this done. I know I don't have too much to do. So they were able to waive all of my music credits
like
that I
earned. They applied your life experience.
My life experience to my credits of my music credits.
Yeah.
But I could not get out of taking this English composition class, 200 level English composition. So I started yesterday. It's amazing.
And how's it going?
It's going good. I mean, it's online. It's really, but I had to look up what asynchronous means. It means like you're doing things at different times. Like but all in the same.
I don't understand.
I have assignments due on Wednesday and Friday, but I can watch the videos and read the coursework whenever I want.
Oh, I already fell asleep.
I know, I already did, but I already did the work for this week, so I'm good to go.
And was it hard?
It's a little hard. I mean, it was fun. It was crazy because they were talking about like I had to say Brian Newman, will not use AI to generate my work, like all this like legal.
Because that's what all the kids are doing now.
Which I was just like, fuck that. I don't use AI now. Why would I use AI? Anyway,
you're like, I don't even know how to use AI.
I made that clear, but it is. I'm a 44-year-old man. It's been a long time since I was in college, and now I'm taking online courses. It's just real. I emailed the teacher and Dr. Rubinsky. Thank you. I know you're probably not.
Were you like, I am a full-fledged adult?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to do this, so please let me know if I already screwed up.
Because it's like Google Classroom Extreme.
Oh, and there's like the Catalyst app, and then there's like this other Canvas thing that I have to do.
Is there any time where you're gonna go and be in person? Because I really want to see that.
No, I don't think so. But I think somebody DM'd me today, like, because I posted a story about it, and somebody DM'd me today, so you got to throw a party in Cincinnati, and I think that would be really fun.
No, I already want to throw you a graduation party, but do you get to walk in graduation?
I think if I wanted to, I could.
That would be so much fun.
We'll see.
I'm just all about any excuse for a party.
If I'm not working, I will strap on the gown and get it on. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't have to make money,
on the gown.
if I don't have to move. If
you don't have to pay for that college tuition.
I don't have to pay for it. So.
Wait, no. If you don't, you do. You have to pay to take this class, didn't you?
No. I got a scholarship.
You got a scholarship?
I got a scholarship.
How?
That's because this class is as much as 1 year of college when I went to college. When I went to state school, my parents saved for Ohio Trust and Tuition Association, OTTA, which is like, it's kind of like the 429 that we have for SIS.
The one that I have the credit card, like, and if I buy ketchup, 50 cents goes into her college fund.
The tuition
$529.
$529. Tuition in 1999 was $4,500 a year, plus $4,500 to stay in the dorm for room and board. So, and then books maybe $2,000, so $1,000, $800. So they paid for that, but then, and I got a little bit of a scholarship, but I lost it immediately because I was like partying my face off.
No shocks.
Yeah, well, I was such a nerd in high school. I didn't really. I was like, oh my God, there's beer.
I don't know that you were a nerd in high school. You had a black book, the Chictionary, with all the girls' phone numbers in it, and you got asked to all the proms.
Yeah, but I wasn't like a party. I wasn't like doing. I wasn't, you know what I mean. I wasn't like drinking and.
Well, I love this adventure for you.
I'm so excited, man. It's cool.
Actually. I do want to. I want to.
And I love writing, so it's like it's not bad. Not a bad thing.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be good for your brain.
Yeah.
I want to make a short film. I want to go to the campus and just do like a short film of you. Like walking through and like trying to find a building and like
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but I've
doing
been
stuff
there.
like
I
that.
went to college there for 4 years. It
It
took
was
me
a
5
long
years.
time
It took me
ago.
5 years to not graduate, which is even crazy.
Well, you worked hard. I know
Yeah.
people who it's taken longer to not
Yeah, they're
graduate.
called
So
doctors.
okay. Touche. Well, I'm excited for you and your adventure.
Oh no, I'm excited. I mean, I just can't wait for all. I'm being facetious, but I can't wait for all the gigs I'm going to get from having my Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Well, but you can do like other things.
Yeah, I can. I miss some opportunities for teaching and stuff like that. Like I'm not trying to. I don't really want to be a teacher really, but
you'll feel cool when you have a college degree.
I'm excited. Hopefully, we'll open some doors, and maybe when I'm older and I do want to teach at college, and just do something like that.
Your parents will be happy.
My parents are going to be extremely happy. My dad especially, because he was just like. Well, you know that generation. You know what I mean? Like you were the first one. You and your sister were the first one to go to college in your family's generation.
Yeah, but
right?
I failed miserably. No, my Aunt Deb was the first one.
Aunt Deb, okay.
And she was my mom's sister, but she was 10 years younger.
That generation of immigrants.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Like we're all everyone in this country is an immigrant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so everyone had to come here, pull themselves up.
The path to success is college. In that mindset. Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I don't necessarily agree that you need that college education to do things in life, but
but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Fun. It's good and it's free. And
sometimes I wish I had the experience and the degree.
Yeah, but you did. You went to NYU and then and you dropped out and you it got you to New York. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's.
No, I didn't even want to come here. My parents made me.
Well, thank God you did, because we wouldn't even have known each other.
I know.
What would you have been doing if you were still in Trenton and you didn't go to?
I'd be Windexing a mirrored wall in some house somewhere.
All right, man. All right. But good times, man.
Yes, and I'm glad. I'm excited to hear more. And don't forget to do your homework tonight.
I know I do have to do.
Now I have to remind 2 people to do their homework in the house.
You don't have to remind me. I'm gonna ace this class. I swear to God, and I can't wait.
Well, me too. But before we get into this week's guest, let's hit our new thing, which is the mailbag. Shake it up, shake it up, right, shake it up. We don't know what is going to come out of here. These are all questions that you guys have submitted via Instagram or our website. And there's some doozies, and I put them all in. I don't say, no, that's a crazy question. Hit it.
Oh, okay. This is from Witch in NYC. Don't put a spell on us. How do you deal with drama in show with venues and the scene?
Oh, that's a very good one, Witch.
You think this is Witch Tulips?
It is Witch Tulips.
It is Witch Tulips.
Well,
she's a great dancer, burlesque dancer.
Yes, absolutely. How do we deal with drama? Well, first of all, we have a team that we love and we work with a lot, and that eliminates a lot of drama.
Yeah.
I've always tried to avoid drama and not get involved in it unless it actually affects me in a certain way.
Yeah.
So much of it is just noise that distracts from what I need to do or what we need to do. Yeah. If someone has a problem with me and it's based in reality, I will try to address it head on. I love confronting situations head on. And if that doesn't work, then I just keep moving, because I think when people create drama, they're just taking away from valuable time and energy you could be putting towards your work. Oh, yeah. There's no point in 99% of it. There's 0 point.
There's no point in it. I mean, and especially, like, you're right. And like, I think if as soon as you start to see some inklings of a performer that has drama or that has like these issues, like, you just need to get away from it. You know what I mean? Like, put yourself around people that are gonna make you better and lift you up. You know what I mean? It's like,
and you all grow together.
Yeah, man. I was like, my dad had been telling me for years, like, if you want to be the best, you got to play with the people that are better than you. You got to be, I know some sports analogies, but like, it's like you want to surround yourself with people that are positive and that are lifting you up and growing.
No pettiness, no jealousy,
no ego,
no competition.
I cannot stand the ego. Like it's like I'm going to treat everybody, regardless whether you're the busboy or the president, the CEO of the company. Like, I'm going to treat you guys exactly the same.
No, absolutely.
It's like as soon as I see anybody treat someone like
badly,
that, it's like
it's such
a
turn off.
It's like, fuck you, man. You suck.
So work with good people and keep it high, keep it moving. Again, like, if it's something legitimate, like if I've hurt someone's feelings or if someone's talking about me or something, like, I will address it.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
That would be terrifying for me. I bet you've terrified people.
I don't know. It's very rarely worked out. Because people who want to create that drama, that's why they're doing it. They just want to create it.
Yeah, but they don't. If they're going to create drama with you, they don't know you very well. That you're gonna like, you don't. You don't give a fuck. 2, you're just like.
Yeah.
I'm
giving a fuck is one of the greatest gifts of all.
Yeah, it's like really a great gift. It's just like, forget it.
And again, I do if I've hurt someone's feelings or if I've done something I didn't mean to do. Okay, I want to, like make sure
Are
that
you
I
saying that you were wrong sometimes?
no, it's never been proven. It's never been proven.
Oh, that's great.
So, but yes, that's how. Just keep it moving, which focus on the positive, focus on your career, focus on the work. There is no time for unnecessary drama.
Time for unnecessary
But
drama.
you know what there is time for?
What?
Today's guest.
Oh, I cannot wait for this guest.
Do you want to just give us a little ditty on today's
man.
guest? Because he is very special.
Man, today we're welcoming our one of our great friends and collaborator, multi-Grammy winning sound engineer, producer, accomplished musician, drummer.
Super cool guy.
I love this cat, man. Mr. Dae Bennett.
Yes, let's get to it.
Bennett. Let's get this cat in here, man.
Let's take a minute for the people that make showing off possible.
It may be cold outside, but it's always hot Saturday nights at the Flatiron Room in Murray Hill. Join me, Brian Newman, at the Flatiron Room on 37th Street every Saturday from 9 p.m. to midnight. Call ahead for reservations and enjoy some of the finest food and drink in Manhattan while you cozy up for a night of electric entertainment. More information at theflatironroom.com.
And we're back at Showing Off.
Oh, man, Dae Bennett, welcome to Showing Off.
Yes,
man.
we're so happy to have you here, Dae.
So happy to have you. Man,
So
really.
good to see you,
always. Oh, you and
always.
Robin. Man,
So we're excited to have you here, and this podcast is called Showing Off, and we love to have all our friends, most of whom work in entertainment or the arts.
Okay.
And the first question that we like to ask people is, when did you realize that you were a show-off?
I don't think I ever realized that. I'm actually, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm one of those people that like runs away from cameras and things like that. So I'm kind of like the.
But
you're still creating.
But you were creating, and you were a drummer. You know what I mean? A musician.
Yeah.
You played like in the early days. You know.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, but that was kind of like now.
Yeah.
I'm more into the music part of it, and the production part of it, than I am into the actual performing part of it, or
But don't you think I think showing off also it also crosses over into that, because for me it's like being in these high pressure situations and helping to create something that other people are going to look at and judge and take and make. So you're still showing off, even if it's a little bit behind the scenes.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess that's, if you put it that way, yes.
Doing something scary, taking risks, making something big for the world to consume.
Yeah,
that's true.
And huge things. I mean, you've done incredible huge things. So it's
well, it's interesting because when you're doing it, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the product, thinking about the what we're doing, and thinking about the creative process. And I don't know. That's really what I'm more focused on than the actual. I'm not a very showbiz person, unlike most people in my family. I'm like the. Some might say I'm the little monster of my family.
Yeah.
Where are you in the lineup of your siblings?
I'm the second born child.
All right.
So he has 4 altogether. So with 2 different women. So
then you're kind of like middle.
Yeah.
You're a middle
in
child.
a ways. Yeah. I mean, there's I was 20 years old by the time the younger half sisters came along. So it was kind of not.
You were already out. You're already out of the house. At that point. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Did you know you wanted to go into the arts? Did you know you wanted to go into music? Was that just your path always?
I mean, we started playing. I don't know. I started playing drums when I was 9 years old. So it just was, became the thing we do. All our friends were into sports and doing all those other things, and we were just playing music and hanging out with all our friends who were musicians, and we just kind of grew into that.
I know we've talked about this, but for the people at home though, was there a studio in the house that you grew up in?
We did.
With a drum set and keys.
The studio that my parents built in the late 50s was being built at the same time that Rudy Van Gelder was building his studio up in Englewood Cliffs. Yeah. And there actually, in the lower level of the house, was a small studio that actually Rudy Van Gelder put together for my father.
Wow.
So many years later, after Rudy died, I had never been up to his studio, and they were doing a promotional thing for Verve Records up there. So I was invited to go. So I figured I'd go, and I went in, and it was kind of a little bit of a heart-wrenching moment, because all the materials used in the Van Gelder studio, like the terracotta floors and the chalky tiles in the ceiling and all those kind of things, were what we had at home, so it was kind of
in your basement.
Yeah, so it was kind of like, whoa,
Is that studio still there? Is that house still there? And
the house is
not the Rudy guy. I know the Rudy.
Yeah, no, the house. The studio kind of went out when my father did. So. Yeah. But the gear was still there, and we always that's what we learned on as kids. You know? So that's
That's amazing. That's where you got to go and play.
And when did you guys start? When did you and Danny start Quacky Duck? Was that around this time, or was that a little bit?
That was more like later in high school.
Was there other bands before Quacky Duck that you and your brother?
But just like we play school
that's
dances.
Like the great.
And stuff,
and that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Where did Quacky Duck come from?
I'm not really sure. It was never my favorite name for the band.
Why?
Yeah, right. I always just wanted to call it the Ducks. But I was overruled.
You were overruled?
Yeah,
the drummer was.
Well, we were also like a bunch of teenage boys, so like a lot of the alternative names were also
not good.
not great for primetime TV.
The drummer never gets his due. He doesn't get as much. You know what I mean? Look at like Ringo or you know what I mean? Like whatever you do, he never gets to say his point.
Yeah, but we, that grew out of just playing in high school bands and dances and stuff like that. And we used to play a lot down at Max's Kansas City.
Oh no! Yeah. Wait, Quacky Duck?
Yeah, a lot actually upstairs. And
what years would this be?
I'm going to say like probably between say like 72 to 74.
Wow.
Maybe. And we were there a lot, actually.
Yeah, and you've told me stories about all the other other bands that were on the bill with you guys too, like just crazy.
Oh yeah, no, we used to open for like Bonnie Raitt.
And,
Graham Parsons.
Yeah,
and Emmylou Harris, and actually the A&R person Mary Martin saw us there.
No way.
And she signed us to Warner Brothers. So I'm like in high school, in my senior year in high school, I was signed to Warner Brothers. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah. That's amazing.
We just did. We used to play there a lot. And when the Warner Brothers, we were just kind of at that point traveling up and down doing the Northeast Corridor.
Yeah.
Basically, it was like used to be a thing called a club circuit where you could actually.
I remember. I caught the tail end of that.
Right. Where you could actually make money as a musician. It was amazing. Yeah. But so we did that a lot. But then Warner Brothers decided that they would be a good idea for us to go to L.A. and do the same thing. And we were all like, teenagers, So and we were like, well, that took us like 5 years to build up a thing in the East Coast, So, but they just kind of threw us out there, and the only friend we had out there was Graham Parsons.
Yeah. Wow.
And we rented this house in North Hollywood, with the whole band living in one house. But Graham used to come out over to our house and like hang, like work with us on songs and stuff like that, and help us develop our material. And we were like begging him to produce our record. Yeah. And he's just like, Warner Brothers guys, they can't stand me. There's no way that's going to happen, kind of thing. And we were really disappointed, because that was something, a connection that was like, a real connection for us musically, because we were we had kind of a country-ish kind of thing, and we were kind of doing like what the Eagles eventually became famous for. It was like, and what Graham was really into was that mixing of rock and country flavor. Yeah. And we had this great multi-instrumentalist in the band, David Mansfield, was one of the greatest musicians ever, and he played pedal steel and mandolin and fiddle. And,
that's so fun.
He was amazing. And actually, he ended up getting taken out of our band by Bob Dylan, came through with the Rolling Thunder review and saw us at Max's, and he was gone.
Oh, man.
Quacky Duck was no joke. You guys were doing it.
Well, we were, it was fun, but we were, the fun kind of ended when we were out in L.A. because that was Graham was over our house for dinner one night. We were sitting out on it's kind of like a movie, some of these memories I get, we were sitting out on our back patio, and he was singing Wild Horses. And we were doing harmony, and just hanging out, Yeah. And he was supposed to join us again the next night, but he didn't come. And then they came to tell us 2 days later that he had died. Wow. We were just teenagers, We were just freaking out.
It's like one of your heroes and your a mentor,
We were just so gutted. It just like gutted the whole project,
Yeah.
Man. And, but that was, what ensued afterwards with him is all the lore, his body was stolen from the
It's
airport.
A crazy story. Angie, you don't know that story?
I don't know
this story. Well, he had this road manager who calls himself the road mangler, this guy, Phil Kaufman. And he's a great guy. I mean, it's what you definitely like being on the road with this guy because he could get anything done. He was one of those people who could talk anybody into anything. But he had gone, I guess they had some kind of pact or something like that, but he had gone to the airport in L.A., and he had rented a hearse, and he talked them into putting this guy's coffin in the back of his hearse, drove him out to Joshua Tree, and burned him.
What?
Yeah,
Because that's what Graham wanted.
so this came over the radio. We were all like, "Oh God, it's got to be Phil." You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
oh,
you know, when the news broke the next day what had happened, you know, we were all like, "Okay, definitely Phil Kaufman." You know,
Wow,
But,
that's completely crazy.
it was a, you know, it's
But
a,
that's what he wanted.
it's a, yeah. I mean, they had some kind of pact going. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
well, I hope so.
but you know, unfortunately, a lot of substance abuse with those two, and you know, it's always hard to deal with.
Yeah.
In our business, but we had a lot of great experiences with him. He used to come to our gigs in L.A. And,
Man.
you know, we opened for him and Max's quite a few times, and I would think like the second or third time they came back, they were requesting us as their openers. You know, so it's, you know,
That's super special.
you
That's
know,
great.
so
And
young Emmy Lou, you know, she was amazing.
It's amazing.
You know,
What a great
it was so
time
cool,
to
you know.
be around and be working and be amongst those artists.
Yeah.
Like,
Same with Bonnie Raitt. You know, she was friendly with us. She actually came to our, stayed at our band house for a long
In
weekend.
LA?
No, this was out when we were living out in Western Jersey.
Oh, I've heard
We were living
stories
out
about
in-
that.
came and stayed with you?
I've heard stories about that band house. That band house was the one with was like a mansion almost.
Well, that
right?
was up in Millbrook.
Millbrook,
Yeah.
okay.
We had a few band houses.
Yeah.
Like that. But we had an old dilapidated 24-room mansion up in Millbrook, New York, and that was you know, it's close to Vassar, and I had gone to school with and was good friends with Tony Bourdain, and he was at Vassar at the time, and you know, so we were coming out of school, and so we were hanging out there, and Tony would, you know, come over and hang out.
And just for the people at home, that is Anthony Bourdain that he's
Anthony
talking
Bourdain,
about.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, but
Yeah,
it's so cool. Man.
Okay, right. I was
So
like,
cool.
Tony Bourdain.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
But and Quacky Duck, you guys play still every once in a while, right? Or was that?
We did a reunion in 2016.
Yeah. Wow. It's been that.
fun.
It's
You know,
been that
so like
long. It's
40
been
years,
that long.
yeah.
It's been that long
So
already.
40 years later, we got together, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. What was interesting was like within the first half hour, the whole band dynamic was like back. It's like
For better
all
or
the same,
worse?
well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
you know,
no Quaaludes anymore.
no. Yeah, it's just-
I say that happens every time me and my sisters go to my parents' house, and
Yeah.
within like 20 minutes, everyone has turned into their child self.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean that's
For better or
totally it,
worse,
you know,
we regress.
But you know, that was a lot of fun to see everybody and get to hang out. Like
If you
that.
want to listen to Quacky Duck, are you guys on the internet? Is there Quacky Duck out there?
I don't know. I mean, there's an album. We made an
Yeah.
album, you know. So
I think it is on Spotify. I've listened to it before. Yeah, I believe so.
really, well,
Maybe it was a YouTube. Link? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't.
I'm gonna
we gotta
find
look
it. We're gonna find some
I
Quacky
never,
Duck.
I never
We're gonna
search
link
because
it.
I'm afraid what I might find.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot out there.
Yeah.
Every time I do a search, I have like one eye closed
Yeah,
to see what
exactly.
comes up.
So after this crazy LA trip and Graham Parsons and everything like that, so then did you guys just move back to what's the transition from doing that to
really,
engineering?
pretty much after David Mansfield left the group, you know, it was this, you know, we were just playing to work, you know.
Yeah.
So we got an old 1949 flexible bus, you know, and we converted the inside, and we were just kind of traveling around
amazing,
doing that,
man.
a lot upstate, a lot of going down south in North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know. And then it just kind of wound down, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the period where, you know, being a rock drummer in the onset of the disco era was kind of rough. you know? I mean,
Yeah.
because everything was going to drum machines, and all the clubs were going to track.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like musicians. You don't
It's a
be
huge
musicians. We could
change,
just put up a couple of lights and, you know, run track, you know. So that's kind of when I transitioned into the production side of music, because I knew a lot about recording. We always had a small studio setups,
Right.
and
You grew up with it in the basement.
and by the late 70s, early 80s, we had a studio set up in my brother's house, and it was just a couple of pieces of gear away from being like professional studio. So I took that step,
Yeah.
and it was a small studio called Hillside, and that just led to a whole other chapter of of doing 15 years of hip hop records, and you know,
I mean, and talk about that a little bit too, because you know you come from the you like those other like country, rock and roll, drums, and then you all of a sudden you're like sampling Rob bass for like It Takes Two to make a It Takes Two to make a thing. Like,
oh yeah, Brian was talking about
Like,
this.
and-
He's like, you don't understand. Sampling
and
was
gunfights, and you know what I mean,
it was,
just
well, you know, it was interesting because what happens, you know, we were in the same town as Sugar Hill Records, which is where rap, that kind of hip hop really started.
Yeah.
So I think we started with just like some overflow business from that place, but we had a couple of big hit records out of there.
Yeah.
and
So cool.
once that happens, then that's like the next 15 years.
Yeah.
And it was just me and the other engineer, David Kowalski, who
Yeah. Oh, I love Dave.
And
Do you guys still work together?
no, actually, Dave works at his own. He
Okay.
works at a studio over in Teaneck now.
Oh, okay.
Tina. Yeah.
Yep. But we were basically shifting 12-hour shifts for like 15 years, 20
Wow.
years.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah,
And
we both raising kids and doing full-time jobs with their wives, and so it was really big juggle for a long time. But
was that Bennett Studios yet, or was that
No, that was Hillside.
that was still Hillside?
that was still Hillside.
Which was the one that you had the cables running underneath the street
That was
to
the
the orchestra?
Bennett Studios. Then we kind of expanded from there.
Yeah.
Because we were pretty successful with Hillside. We just outgrew the space after a while because it was very small space. So we took over a train station, and we had 3 studios in there. One big enough to handle like small orchestras and big bands.
A train station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this in Jersey?
Yeah, in Englewood, yes.
Okay.
And there was a performing arts theater that used to be it started life as a vaudeville theater, but then became a movie theater
Yeah,
for many
of course,
years,
yeah.
and then they converted it back to a performing arts center. And my lease for the train station was with the city, which is a big mistake.
Can only imagine.
Yeah, but they actually dug a trench, and we put in fiber optic to the theater, which was like about a block and a half down the street. And we ended up doing a lot of recordings out of there, and a couple of TV shows.
I mean, that's
and,
pretty cool. The city let you dig a trench.
Yeah, like
and,
Well, I was going to do it, and I had it all planned out, and I had it all costed out. And then they I guess they had a council meeting, and they called me and said, "Listen, we just realized, you're not allowed to dig
Do
up
that?
you're not allowed to dig up the street and own anything in the street, so we're going to have to do it."
Yeah.
And of course, for them, it cost like 3 times as
Oh,
much.
of course.
exactly.
And took 10 times as
10
long.
times as long.
Yeah,
More
didn't
red
work
tape and bullshit.
So,
Yeah.
but it was interesting. It was the early days of fiber optics. So,
Yeah.
now the equipment is completely
and-
considered antiquated, but
Yeah.
it got us there at that time, to be able to do that. So, so the studio became kind of a remote truck for that theater,
Yeah. That's pretty cool, though.
But
You
in
could
real
record
time,
things.
did you have like cameras too that you could see them too, or
Well, we
was
just
it
had
audio?
for seeing. We
For
didn't actually
yeah.
do the video production. So,
I see.
But normally in those kind of productions, they would have to bring a video truck and an audio truck.
And an audio truck. Yeah.
So we were just like the audio truck kind of built in.
That's so cool, man. That's so
So
cool.
that worked out great. But we had, and I had that studio for about 10 years. And we had like 20 records win Grammys just in that 10-year period, which was, which is great, but the time they changed so drastically.
Yeah.
I mean, I opened the studio 5 days before 9/11. So that was a little rough, as terms of like the first year. I mean, even the first year, we wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for Philip Bailey came in to make a record like within the first couple of months after.
Yeah.
Like, because 9/11, like whole business, everything kind of closed down.
Shut down. Nobody was doing anything.
So
Yeah.
it really got to a point where, I was thinking like, okay, this is definitely like the biggest mistake of my life.
It was really rough timing.
Yeah, and I was just like, because the studio was a big,
I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
project. We had, it was a real facility with floating rooms and
Yeah.
floating slab floor, the whole thing. Led a couple of years in the planning, another year to build it, kind of thing, and then.
Then the world stands
Then
still.
all of
Yeah,
a sudden,
it
the
was
world
just-
ends. Yeah.
But Philip Bailey was a really great person, and of course, very talented guy. They actually booked out the whole building because they had a bunch of, they had vocals and bit tracks going. So they used all the studios at once
That's
for like
great.
about a month and a half.
Thank
Saved
God.
my ass.
Incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, my
seriously.
God,
It took
really
a long
incredible.
time for things to
Yeah,
start
it really
rolling
did.
again at that time.
And then once we got up and rolling, then all of a sudden the whole thing MP3s and Spotify, and all of a sudden the budgets, there was like
yeah.
zero budgets. It
It's
was really
gotta be
hard to
hard.
sustain a large place like that.
Well, and
So-
especially when everything is changing and like the equipment is constantly changing and
Right.
the needs are constantly changing
Right.
and like keeping up with that
Yeah.
has to be really
yeah,
like hard on your wallet and your brain.
I'm so glad I don't do it anymore. I mean, that's like
Now
I
it's
mean,
like-
Yeah.
I miss the place. I miss because it came out of my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
and I listen to some of the records we did there now, especially like a lot of the live stuff. The main room there was a beautiful sounding room for recording. But I don't miss owning it.
No.
For
Yeah,
1 minute.
yeah. Now you can just show up to the studio and just work.
No,
work.
because you're
Yeah.
there for like 10 years. You're like a squirrel. Like, okay, what's going to happen next? It's like, you're waking up in the middle of the night like, oh, Jesus.
Brian always talks about like when we listen to old records and stuff, like all these guys were in one room and everybody's just playing and like that's so exciting. And then things changed, right? And people do things like for people who don't know, and I'm not the one to explain it, but like so then everything goes in tracks. So it's like one person's in this room doing the drums and one person's over here doing the guitar. And one person's in here doing whatever, the fiddle.
Explaining engineering to Dae?
Yes.
Yeah,
and, well, no,
no,
explaining
no,
it for
I'm
the
kidding,
people.
I'm kidding.
Like that's a huge difference.
It is. And I mean, the thing is that there's all different ways to make records.
Yeah.
And they all have their, reasons. And, for 20 years, I was just doing loops on a computer.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite way? Like, do you have something that you were like, this is my favorite?
I'm very eclectic music taste,
Yeah.
so I like all different. That's why I was able to do the hip hop stuff as well as we were doing like hip hop at night and jazz during the day. That was Hillside's too.
Yeah.
That's so great.
So
to be able
we
to
didn't
do
let
that.
one know the other that we were doing that. It's like, their paths didn't cross too often. So, but I think the most enjoyable thing to do is to record jazz just because it's live and in the moment, and it's like, everything's kind of spontaneous, and even the recording part of it is spontaneous, and that you have to get a capture like a good photographer would get a good picture, so that I like a lot, but also, rock and even hip hop, you get to do things that are not natural, but, you create a sonic landscape that becomes natural, after it's done. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I find it all interesting.
Have someone you'd like to see as a guest on Showing Off, or have some burning questions you want to ask us? Shoot us a line at showingoffpod@gmail.com.
Can you talk about she's talking about like the analog days and now the digital, like that specifically that Rob bass. I mean, that was like the first kind of like sampling.
I actually still have the Mac Plus that we did that track on, it was like, remember the old Mac Plus? It was just
is that the computer?
Yeah, the computer, the original Mac.
Wow.
And we had the 4 meg upgrade.
Wow, 4 meg.
4 meg. It was $400.
Wow.
4 meg upgrade.
$100 a meg.
And we had, exactly, and we had a 1.2 gigabyte drive, which was like in a big rack space.
Now you can get like a gigabyte
and it was like $1,500. It was crazy.
That's
but that
crazy.
was, and we were just using sequencers at that point. There was no Pro Tools or anything. So we were just like using samplers and sequencers to align all of that stuff. It just, I think, in particular with Dave and I being musicians, one of the reasons that Hillside got popular is because we were musicians. It's one thing to technically be able to do it, but it's another thing to be able to make it swing so you could dance to it, kind of thing. So I think that's what got us the early success of that studio, doing that type of music.
When you talk about swing, like making that kind of like making a machine feel like it's danceable, is extremely difficult.
Well, something like It Takes Two. There's actually 2 loops going on there. And one of them is Benny King.
Who's Benny King?
It Takes Two was one.
The original song. Yeah.
So, that was one of the first big hit records to have used a loop as the an 8-bar loop as the 2-bar loop or whatever it was, as the rhythm section. And at the time the law was you were allowed to use 8 bars of music free of charge, right? Because they used that for sporting, going to commercial, the record companies were down with it and the artists because it promoted the song and blah, blah, blah. But they never thought you were going to take that 8 bars and just keep repeating it over and over
and make a whole
new
song.
track.
But you could.
So after that song became a big hit, all the lawsuits followed.
That's the loophole.
Yeah, and then so they originally threw out a big net, because they didn't know who do we sue here? So they come after me, and I'm like, hey, I'm just getting paid by the hour.
Yeah, you're like, no.
I don't know nothing.
I didn't make this song. It's Rob.
But it eventually all got squared away. But one day at Hillside, it's in the morning, and I'm just getting ready, aligning the machine or doing something. And get a knock on the door, and it's Benny King, because he lives out in Jersey, and the nicest guy, he was a beautiful person. And he says, he said, I just want to know, like, how is it done? So I had to show him,
No
he
way.
wanted to like take him through like the process of like how it was done. He was, that's amazing, and like,
So he wasn't there for money. He was there.
yeah,
to
no,
just-
he already made the
He
money.
already
So
got the
was,
money.
He
So
was
he
already
was
happy.
funny.
He wasn't mad at
Yeah.
anybody,
He just wanted to see
He just
the
wanted
process,
to see like what happened.
figure out how it
yeah,
works.
Right, yeah.
That's
But
so
he was a
cool,
great guy
man.
though. And,
That's so cool.
He just knocked on your door.
yeah, he just like showed up.
You're like, come in.
Yeah, right. But that's that's kind of the interesting thing about being in this business is that you meet all these interesting people. And a lot of interesting people out in Jersey, strangely enough.
Yeah,
And,
so no.
Tons of recording done there, like over the years, like since the back in the day, like
It's where it was
the
invented.
40s. It's
where it was
crazy.
Right.
invented. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because when I was at Bennett Studios, I met Les Paul,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we kind of became friends, right?
Yeah.
And he was like calling me up all the time, and he was like, he wanted to do a DVD of his, like make a documentary about his career and his life
Yeah.
and stuff. And he saw we had the facility for it, and he would stop by and like hang out, and he would, be like 11:30, 12 at night, I'd be working in the control room, and the phone rings, and it's, the front desk, like, Les is on the phone. I'm like, okay, hey Les, what's up? And, he's like, hey, Dae, you busy? And I'm like, yeah, I'm actually, okay, good. Listen, I got this thing I got to do. So, but he's the funniest guy. He was also a great person.
Yeah.
But, just to talk, just to get to know somebody like that. And,
I remember when he, like the late 90s, early 2000s, he had that weekly residence. I can't remember where it was. Iridium.
Iridium,
yeah.
The original Iridium by Lincoln Center.
And I
Yeah.
remember seeing that and just being like, I cannot believe that you can just go see.
Invented the electric
Les
guitar, and you can
Paul.
go
He
see Les
invented
Paul.
multi-track recording.
Wow, I didn't
just
know
so
that.
he could harmonize with his guitar. So he could, those famous records of him
Yeah.
harmonizing guitar parts.
Yeah. Wow.
That's, it's the mother of invention, right? It's necessity, right? He needed to be able to harmonize with his own parts and stuff. But the Iridium was funny because I was a good friend of mine, Peter Karp, working on a record, and one of his records, a singer-songwriter, and Mick Taylor, the guitarist, was over from England and was doing tracks on the record, And so he was staying at we had a house for the studio. He was staying there. And he says, oh, here, Les Paul plays the Iridium on Monday nights. You think we could go down to it? I said, oh, yeah, I know Les. Let's go down, So I take him down, and he said, oh, yeah, tell him to come and bring your guitar, And so I go down with Mick Taylor, the Iridium, and we go up, and he gets up and he jams and all that stuff.
Oh, man.
So after the thing, we go backstage, which is nothing, it's like a room,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we walk in, everybody goes, oh, hey, Dae Bennett's here. Dae Bennett's here. Nick's like,
Thanks a lot.
what's that all about? Well, chop liver over here. What,
Exactly.
It was a funny, it was a funny scene. But,
Funny.
No, I remember everybody getting like during this time too, like the swing scene was going on in the
that's
city.
where we met.
Yeah, that's where we met. And I remember everybody would be like, Dae Bennett's here, Dae Bennett's here.
Yeah,
and
oh,
all
he's
the
like,
bands
what?
would get so
Your reputation
excited.
precedes you always, man.
Right.
Always.
Well, I don't know. It's
Always.
funny because the first time I met Gaga
Yeah.
Yeah.
was we were doing one of the duets records, and she was just coming in to do like it was like a one-hit thing like we did with all those duets records. But I'm getting a studio ready. It was over at Power Station, and she comes in the room and she goes, "Who's Dae?" And I'm like,
You're like,
"Me?" It's like, and she goes, "Oh, okay." She says, "Because all my friends know you, and now I know you too."
Yeah.
So I was like,
that's so funny.
That's awesome,
It is
man.
like everybody knows Dae.
Yeah. Totally,
it was funny.
Yeah.
But that was a great scene, though. I loved that.
That time was fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
It really was fun. The windows in the world. And,
Oh yeah.
Flying neutrinos, right?
Yeah.
Flying neutrinos
Yeah.
and
That spot
John
Swing
Sup-
46 that just
Swing
closed
46
down.
and the Supper Club shows.
The supper.
That was the Supper Club shows were really fun.
Oh, the Supper Club was amazing.
Because-
oh,
all the Broadway dancers would come
Yep.
after
Yeah.
the shows.
Oh,
and, like,
man, it
watching
just-
the dancing was like watching in one of those old movies where
you
people,
felt like you were
Yeah, yeah.
in
I mean, it
a
was,
movie.
It was
Like Swing
insane.
Kids.
It was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah,
It was so cool to
and
watch.
everybody got all dressed up
Yep.
and like these big bands were playing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to be in the Supper Club, which was such a
Yeah.
beautiful room.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool, very cool place.
You felt like you were starring in your own movie.
I mean, it really was like that.
It was.
really was. It was very cool. A lot of fun.
I
New York,
miss
New
those
York.
days.
Yeah.
Everybody would be like, Dae's here, Dae's here. Well, I mean, probably because you've made all these hit records and they all
I mean,
want, you know.
I made a lot of records with a lot of the artists who were doing that
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
No, did you? I remember you worked with the Flying Neutrinos.
Neutrinos, Brooklyn Bums.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, the Brooklyn Bums.
Bums,
Luigi Babe.
Luigi Babe, and
I saw Luigi Babe not too long ago.
Oh, is that right? Well,
Yeah,
to see
he
him
came
again
to
too.
our
he
show.
came to see the show.
I
Yeah,
think it was
yeah.
his like
65th birthday or
65th
something like
birthday.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
those
great
the
character.
Brooklyn
He's a great
Bums
guy.
were fun.
Yeah,
I was on
that
the
was a
cover
fun
of one
show.
of their CDs,
Yeah, right.
stirring like a big pot of sauce. Like,
Yeah, right.
You were on the cover of the Brooklyn Bum CD,
Yeah.
stirring a.
Oh, I have
Where
kind
is
of-
that? I want to see
I have
that.
no idea. It's in the attic somewhere.
I'm sure you were wearing like a gown or
No,
something.
I was wearing like a dress and I'm stirring a giant pot of
Right.
sauce.
like a rockabilly
and-
dress. Like
I don't,
that's
even,
amazing.
I don't even know. I have to find that.
Those
Also,
guys
Jet
are so
Set
fun.
6.
Oh my
John
God, Jet Set 6,
Separano.
John
Yeah.
Separano. We used
Right.
to do Windows on the World with them all the
Yeah,
time.
and he does like shoegazer stuff now.
Yeah.
Wow.
There were good
It's
parties
interesting
then.
shit. Yeah.
I liked that music. Like that was like a very
It was
fun
Yeah,
time.
people like to dance.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things.
But
right?
it changes quickly, right? Like the genres and what people are listening
Yeah.
to in the scene, and you have to keep up with that.
I was playing all that stuff when I was in Cleveland,
yeah.
and during that same time, I was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But it was like all the punk rock guys that I knew like sold their electric stuff for like
Right.
upright bass and zoot suits,
Got
and then
their
they were
zoot
like they were like all of a sudden they weren't the
It's true, though.
the lipstick killers, they were the swagger
steppin'
kings. You know what I
daddies.
mean?
Yeah,
like
no,
you know,
that's
like
what happened.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
weird. It was
the
weird.
big steppin' daddies. Yeah.
You were in the
was-
band, the Swing
The
Kids?
Swagger Kings
The
was
Swagger
the name
Kings.
of the band.
Swagger
Yeah,
Kings.
Swagger Kings. I don't know what their original band was, but I remember the first time I saw the guys, I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" I was like just a trumpet player. I'm like 14 years old,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like. But it was great. It was a good gig, and it got me. None of those guys read music, so it was like
Right.
it was good, like ear training and like learning. Like, and not like how a jazz band would do things, like where you gotta have charts, we gotta have.
Right.
This was just like, show up, learn the songs. And I don't even remember how good the band was. It was fun. We had a lot of good times.
Yeah.
Right. But that music, it turned me on to a lot of great stuff. And that melding of rock and country and,
It's fun.
you know, and jazz, it's really cool.
Good time. Makes
Yeah.
people happy.
Absolutely.
Day, like when you work with so many people and you're working in so many different genres and they're coming into your studio, like this is kind of like what I was saying in the beginning. Like I feel like there must be like a lot of pressure in that moment. Would you get nervous before you started these big
I mean,
sessions?
I think it's kind of like going on stage. You
Yeah.
know, like you get some butterflies ahead of
Yeah.
time. You know,
Yeah.
and, but it's like as long as you're prepared, then you kind of relax a little bit. Even though you have butterflies,
Yeah.
it's like you pretty much have everything in control. But what I found probably most nerve wracking I don't do it anymore, but I used to do a lot of like TV remote stuff.
Yeah.
If I did. I worked for JBC and PBS, the Newport Jazz Festival. They did like an hour broadcast of it every year. So I did that for like 11 years with a good friend of mine who's no longer with us, Stephen Reed. And you go, you have to record like 5 or 6 of the acts, and it's going off live. You're just tapped into the house system, so you have no control over mic placement. You're not.
And that's when you're in a truck, like
You're in a truck,
you
and
can't even see
You're in
them.
a truck.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
in whatever. I mean, that's when you really learn about audio engineering because
You've got what you've got.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're
Yeah.
just this is the gear you're working on. It's like you just have to do it.
You can't change a mic halfway through.
Yeah,
you're
you just got to make it work. The
Yeah.
recording gear and the
Yeah.
truck and whatever you're at.
and
yeah.
live was really live.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
no
And,
delay.
Yeah.
and no missing stuff. But so those were like more butterflies
Yeah.
than like doing a session. Where you can set up a few hours ahead of time and have everything ready, and
Yeah.
you're just going in a live situation like that. It's like holy cow,
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun though.
I do love-
but
I
it's,
do-
once it starts rolling and everything's
Yeah.
going well, it's like this is cool.
And I love being in the studio, specifically with you. Always, we've done so many fun stuff, so much fun stuff
We
together,
have.
and I've learned so much from you. Just about what recording and making it sound good, and it's just always so much fun, man. It's like
Yeah.
you go in, you have the time to create, and
It's a good hang, and especially
Yeah.
if you're in a place with like good energy
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
good
yeah.
people. And
Exactly.
especially that one record when Verve was paying for the whole thing, so we were there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Instead of like now, where if I have to record, I have to do it in a day.
Right,
You know,
right,
like,
exactly.
Like, and you were there like all day.
yeah, we would say, yeah. It was, but so much fun to just like dig in and like you're not. It's not live, so for me the pressure is like off.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, so you just go in, we can do whatever we, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's great, especially when you're working with someone like Dae
Somebody you're
and
comfortable
the
with.
musicians that we know. It's like it's really good.
I just think that would be so important to be comfortable in that space.
It is. Well,
Well, yeah.
any artist, professional artist will tell you like being relaxed is like
Yeah.
a huge thing, like for getting good performances or whatever. If you get tight, it's like, ugh,
No, and I like to be comfortable, to be yourself, and to try something new, and to like go out on a line
And
like that.
Dae made me feel so, and me and the band, when we first did the Cheek to Cheek record, like 4 or 5 tracks on the Cheek to Cheek record, and I was nervous as hell. I mean, we're going in with Dae Bennett and and Tony and God, you know what I mean? But like,
No pressure.
it was, but I remember you said something like, I took like a second take on something, and you like said from the booth, I'll never forget it. You were just like, even Lovato doesn't do it in one. and I just was like, I was just like, oh, okay,
Right.
Yeah.
I got this. Okay, all right, it's fine.
you could relax
It's fine.
a little.
Yeah, but at the time, it was like, I don't even know if you know this story, but like I remember when Gaga called me and like said like, hey, Danny and Dae are gonna come to see you at the Rose Bar. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And I was like, told the band, I was like, man, boys, we got 1 set to get this gig. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, we got to fucking do this. We got 1 set.
They already had the gig.
I know. I know. I said, I know they're not going to stay for the second set. They're going to go. It's fine. But we got 1 set. We got to kill it. But we were just wanted to be the best. And it was, and yeah, as soon as we got the studio,
to walk into.
Yeah, right.
yeah, definitely. But like he was saying before, like Dae was saying before, you were prepared. You know what I mean. You know what we're doing, and hopefully, and you just get after it.
Yeah.
You have the tools.
Yeah.
You got the tools, and you
Yeah.
have to like go into the toolbox and use them.
And all these years later, now we're, it's just been
Still
been awesome, man.
terrifying, though.
Still terrifying a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that's the fun part.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly.
It
Keeps it real.
It is. It's
Keeps
true.
it real.
Did you find like, I don't know, like, because you've worked with your father a bunch and your brother, like, was it more stressful or less stressful when you'd be working with your
That's an
dad?
interesting question. I mean, it's funny how things come about.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I had already had a 20-year career going as an audio
Yeah.
producer type person,
Accomplished,
and
very
never
accomplished.
worked with him.
Yeah.
And I did a record. It's funny the way these connections work. I went to high school. A very good friend of mine was a guitarist, Emily Remler.
Mm-hmm.
And she also is no longer with us, but she knew in Pittsburgh, the head of the music department there, Nathan Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And he also knew a bass player named Santi Debriano. I don't know if you know who he
No,
is.
I don't know.
But Santi recommended that Nathan was looking to make a record with Grover Washington Jr., and he recommended my studio. So I make a record and hit it off with Nathan, and he had me like come to the school and do seminars.
Was that
and,
Limelight?
What the album?
The Grover album?
No, it's
Oh,
a Nathan
like-
Davis album.
Oh, no,
Grover
okay.
Washington
With
Jr.
Grover,
and he like kind of grew up together, and they lived in Europe together. So they were.
Yeah.
But we made this record. It's a nice record, and Nathan and I hit it off. And years later, like I said, we had me do University of Pittsburgh seminars, and jazz seminars they did out there. And but then a few years later, I got a call. This is like late '90s before Grover died. You get a call from my dad, and he's in Japan. He's like, "Hey, look, I just took a flight over here with Grover Washington Jr. He's telling me you're making records with him." He says, "How come you're not making records with me?" Kind of thing. I'm like,
You didn't ask, Dad.
yeah. But it's just interesting, like the.
Yeah.
I worked on a few albums with Santi Debriano, and Emily was a friend of mine, and they both knew Nathan. And Nathan, it's kind of like totally disconnected from like my family or anybody. It's like, so that's when like the universe kind of works.
Yeah, it's coming back around.
Interesting ways.
So what was the first record that you made with your?
Well, the
your
first
dad?
one we did was when, because he was not on the label for a long time on Columbia. And then when he came back, we had they gave us like some money to make a record, So we did the a record called Bennett Berlin, and it was just a trio with Ralph Sharon.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Doing Irving Berlin songs,
Yeah.
and it actually ended up getting a lot of attention,
Yep.
and this is when the Japanese company took over Sony, and they were more interested in catalog as well, so
Yeah.
then just one thing led to another, and then, by the time the 2000s rolled around, it was like, I had he was like, you just have final approval on everything.
Yeah.
Everything's all in your court, kind of
That's
thing. I
great.
don't want to think about it, kind of thing.
That's great, man.
And the only thing he would do is, just in the, picking the material, and he always had a super knack, which I always hated, figuring out like the sequence of how the songs were going to be on the album, and he just had a knack for that.
Like
So
making
anytime,
a set.
anytime it came down to like, well, we got to sequence the album, it's like, just ask Tony. It's like it's easy,
Yeah, man.
But,
Did he always record like the way that he record, like with the 2 floor monitors?
Yeah, he always had monitors in the room, but
With no cans, no ears.
yeah, this is one of those things that I kind of always resisted a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you look at all the old recordings, and I've actually restored not restored, but we brought his entire catalog to digital with a great producer named Didier Deutsch, and we stayed true to the original stuff, but like they transfer all the original analog recordings to digital for us to, and we like remastered. We were just we were staying true to we never wanted to change stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
But when we got to doing the records, you see like some are 3 tracks, some are 4 track. So I started looking through the pictures of all these things, and they actually didn't record like that.
Really? Really?
Actually, he's got like one here,
One ear
can
in
on.
it.
He got one can on. He's behind a big thing of gobos, and the orchestra's over on the other side of the room. So
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
wasn't, like.
Oh man.
But but he liked to record that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and they always like, yeah, is that what you used to do? And it's like, no, not really.
Yeah, not
So,
really. Just that's how what he wanted to do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, the original early recordings, that they had to record that way,
Right?
Because there was no multi-track or anything, so things were pretty much live.
And that was when everybody was just going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And some of the records. You hear all the talking in between.
Yeah.
You could hear it's like, okay, next,
I
like,
love that.
I love that.
Yeah,
Or when
that's
they're
like
like,
my
oh
favorite.
no,
Quick,
let's start over again.
Yeah,
Like,
none
take
of
it
that. They're
back.
just
Take
like,
it back.
And the clock, the big clock on the wall.
Yeah.
Got to get out of here.
We got union. We're going to overtime in 10.
Exactly.
But that's
Get
like
this
so
shit
cool.
done.
We heard that on the Sammy Davis record we were listening
Yeah,
to
we
last
just-
night.
yeah.
Like in between the tracks, like they're just talking
Yeah.
and like, oh, let's do that again. And
I
I'm like,
love it.
so sweet. And you could hear the instruments in the back light. Like
Yeah,
it's just so
Or hear people breathing. Like you
Yeah.
just don't hear that anymore. Like take a singer taking a breath. Like you don't like. I feel you listen to pop, you don't hear those kind of nuances like
Yeah.
Somebody
anymore.
sits there in
like,
Pro Tools and takes them all out.
yeah, it takes all the
I like to
negative
hear the
space. Like,
humanity.
I want to hear
I
that,
want to
you
hear the
know?
human like
Wow.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said. I mean, it's difficult to record the way
Of
he
course.
liked to record. I
Of
mean, that's
course.
like the most difficult thing is like having everything in the room.
because
Yeah.
it takes
It's
so
great
long.
if the drummer's on
and-
brushes, but
Yeah.
then, if he starts playing sticks, then the vocal mic becomes an additional overhead mic on the drum set, So
Right.
It's a lot to think about.
it's a lot to think about when you
manage.
get to
When you get to-
mixing. It's
yeah,
a real
yeah.
problem.
Oh.
So, because the microphone for the vocal has to become part of the drum sound, so you got to,
It's
I have
picking
never
up
thought
from
about
everything.
that
It's
in
picking
my
up the
human
vocals,
life,
it's picking
but-
up the drums in every
Right.
microphone.
right.
As opposed to everything being on its own track and you can
Yeah, so almost like,
totally.
can we use brushes on this one?
Yeah.
You're like, I've got an idea.
Yeah, right. Is it creative?
Yeah. Harold,
These are the
brush us
things
out.
that people don't know, would never even think about for 1 second.
Totally. No, but it's good. It's
pretty
good. But then you get that sound of like those old records, like
Which
you were
are
saying,
so
you know?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I mean,
Yeah.
there is, once you get there,
Yeah.
it's just not as easy. Like when you're recording a rock record and everybody, like you're saying, everybody's isolated and you do
And you put it
individual
together.
parts. So, and it's like, that's a sound, I mean, I like that sound too. you know what I mean?
Totally.
But I can remember, funny enough, it's an interesting record that came out in the 60s was the record Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Like, with Born to Be Wild and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
when the record came out, I just remember like playing it over and over and over again and thinking like, man, the record sounds so good. And I like the hit songs on it. It was, it's
Yeah.
a good record. But there's just something texturally about it. I could never, and it wasn't until years later.
Did you figure out what it was?
Yeah, it was one of the first 16-track recordings
To
because
tape, 16 track to tape.
Right. So
Yeah.
we were working, like it was like 3 tracks to 4 tracks to 8 tracks.
Right.
And that was like one of the first 16 track recordings where they could isolate everything. Wow. And I just remember like listening to that record thinking like, God, there's something about this
It makes it
sound is like awesome.
You could tell.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's interesting.
And working with tape is even crazier because then you're just like one. And then if there is an edit, you have to like cut it with a razor blade and tape it back together.
Well, you weren't an audio engineer very long if you couldn't.
If you couldn't
you
do
weren't
that.
good at that.
Yeah.
Well, that's completely insane. You would literally cut it and put it together.
You have to like put the tape machine into edit mode, and then you would rock the reels to find like a snare drum. The snare drum started, and then you would mark the head with a grease pencil.
That's crazy.
And then you would take the tape and you put it in a little block, hit it with a razor blade, take those reels off, put the incoming reel on.
Yeah.
Find a spot, grease pencil, take it off, and then tape it together.
Yeah.
And that's how you edited.
I mean, you look at it now, it's bananas.
No, now it's just like Pro Tools, and, you have Command Z. If it sucks, you just Command Z. But a lot of times if it was like a hairy edit, like it's going to be tough, you would actually record it to another tape machine so you could practice the edit. So you knew
That's smart.
smart,
Super
but
smart.
it took a half an hour.
Yeah.
Instead of like,
But you can't, if you cut the wrong tape,
it's gone.
if you cut the wrong tape, you're toast.
It was destroyed. Right?
Did you ever cut the wrong tape?
I don't think I ever actually cut the wrong tape that I couldn't get it back.
Couldn't get it back.
And I'm telling you, you'd have to go back and peel off like a little
sliver,
16th of an inch or whatever, and get it back.
Did you ever think you were recording but forgot to hit record?
No, I don't know. Never had that happen. I'm trying to think of the most screwed up thing I ever did, but I don't know. I must not have done anything terrible.
Too bad?
Or it would keep me up at night to this day if I did.
Exactly.
You know how when you're going to sleep and you're thinking some stupid thing you did in the past.
Man.
Every night. Do you remember the band Los Straitjackets? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We did a show with them called Caveman a Go-Go. It was this public access show, and they played in their masks, and me and the Pontani sisters were dancing, and it was this whole cable access show. We recorded for 2 hours, these whole segments. These little kids would come in and dance. It was this really goofy show. And then at the end of it, we had gotten changed, and they came in and they said, "We're really sorry, but there was no tape in the camera."
Oh, jeez.
Are you kidding
No, I'm not
me?
kidding.
Yeah.
And we had to do the whole thing over again.
Oh my
I had
God.
a similar thing happen, and when I was doing TV stuff, I was hired to go out to do Liza Minnelli's show in Vegas at the MGM.
Yeah.
So that we were going to record 2 shows. So we recorded the first show, and next morning I'm down in the lobby of the hotel having breakfast someplace, and the producer comes up to me. She goes, "Did you get anything last night?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got stuff to use." And she goes, "We had to throw out everything." I'm like, "What happened?" She said she was drinking blue Gatorade, and her tongue was blue.
No.
Oh no.
No.
So the audio was there, but you couldn't use any of the
they
film.
couldn't use the picture because they probably used some B-roll from it, but they couldn't.
They're
use,
only shots where her mouth is shut.
Her mouth
Yeah.
is not open.
yeah, because she had a blue tongue.
So don't drink blue Gatorade
Right, if you're
and then
on-
do
and then
extreme
be on TV,
singing.
right? Yeah,
Only the
You're gonna be on
yellow.
TV.
Yeah.
Only the yellow. Only the yellow Gatorade. Oh man, Dave,
That's
this
amazing.
This has been amazing,
Yes,
man.
yes.
And we're not done yet.
No.
But we always play a game on.
Yes.
On,
Don't
on,
get worried.
oh, don't
This
get
is
worried. This is
probably
all right.
my
It's
favorite
okay.
one.
You will get a prize.
Okay.
You get a prize.
All right.
There's prizes. We love playing it. So Angie,
Wait.
you want to go?
Yes,
Fine,
let
you
me
go.
do it because I know what you're going to do. You're going to skip ahead.
Okay.
Because this is the part where we say we're going to play this game and it's going to be super fun. But first, we have to have a word from our sponsors.
We'll fix that on the. Josh, can you do the cut the tape when we'll cut
Cut
it with the
tape,
razor blade?
and then we're gonna
razor
tape it
blade
back
and
together.
shave. Yeah,
we
shave
can
it back
make Dae
together.
do it while he's here.
Let's take a second and hear from our friends who pay the bills around here.
Are you a burlesque performer looking to sharpen your skills? Sign up today for Building Burlesque, a limited online class series with me, Angie Pontani. Learn from my years of experience as we review a current performance piece from your repertoire and fine-tune it with expertise. I will help you level up your performance and give you the tools you need to enhance everything from choreography, costuming, lighting, and music. Let's get into it with Building Burlesque. Packages are available on angiepontani.com. That's angiepontani.com. Hey, babe, you know what time it is?
Do I know what time it is? Yeah, baby.
It's game time. All right. Now, Dae, this game I'm very excited about.
Okay.
Because I was like, what can we do?
I helped
Dae?
her. I helped you.
You helped me a lot. So.
And I don't think he's going to need any hints, but if I know the answers if you need a hint.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to need any
All right.
hints.
So to totally pivoting away from recording.
Okay.
Today's game is called Angie's Garage, and Brian has given me 5 classic cars. I have thoroughly researched them and will be speaking in their voice today while I drop absolutely random hints, and all you have to do is guess that car.
For those who know, me and Dae love cars. We love cars, so this is going to be
And if
it's going to be easy, Dae.
If my hints aren't enough, you can phone a friend, and Brian is the friend.
Okay.
He knows, and you can ask him for more.
Where's the phone? Is the phone there?
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
oh, here's
Yeah,
the
right,
phone.
right here.
Here it
Oh,
is.
there
Oh,
it
there
is.
it is.
You can phone a friend, and he can give you more hints. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
All right.
I was born in the 70s. I'm adorable, versatile, and compact. Open up my hatchback and throw in some schnitzel and let's go for a ride where you will enjoy my utility and agility. Did I mention I'm economical? Hop, hop.
A rabbit?
I told you would know.
Well, you know, I drove one for like
Yeah, I
25
know.
years.
Oh, he does. He said he's going to get these. He was like, forget it.
I don't want to make it too hard.
Right.
All right. I'm a legendary sports car, an icon that influenced the industry.
And she wrote these, so.
Okay.
You're trying to separate yourself from my
Well,
car
I just want to,
descriptions? My years were 61 to 74. I'm so sleek, some say I'm the
already
most
know the
beautiful
answer. Yeah, he
car
already
ever
knows the
made.
answer.
I like to go fast and accelerate quicker than my peers, even the ones that cost more money. Want to race? I have fast engine and rack and pinion steering.
In these days, I get my ass kicked by a Hyundai. I'm a Jaguar E-Type.
Yeah.
All right, okay. My mother is Italian. My father is British. I combine the best of both of them with a dramatic and beautiful Italian design paired with British performance details. I'm fast, and that's good because I get chased a lot. Did I mention I'm extremely fancy? Did I mention that I am luxury? Did I mention that I like my martinis shaken, not stirred?
Did it say it's an Aston Martin?
Yes!
Yeah. All right.
See, I told you he would get
Yeah.
it.
I was like
I
in
didn't
my.
get it to the,
I was
martini,
cackling.
right.
I'm making
Right.
these
This
last
is really,
night.
really. I just gave her the cars, and I was like, "You have to do the
Yeah.
research, otherwise
Yeah.
it's gonna be more funny because you don't know about them."
Okay. I'm so wacky, but I can do things no other car can do, and that can come in real handy one day. I was only made from 1961 to 1968, and probably because I'm so niche. I'm German, and I can go up to 70 miles per hour on land, but that doesn't matter because I don't need land. I prefer another surface, and on that surface, I can only go 7 miles per hour, but I roll with the tide.
I'm going to say amphibicar.
Yes!
yes.
All right, all
They're
right.
still leaking.
Yes.
Okay.
4 for 4.
All right, this is the last one.
All right.
I'm old, like really old, like 1930s old, but I'm still around and I'm doing great. I don't have a roof and I don't have windshield wipers or a rear view mirror. Family car? Ha ha ha. I don't have seat belts and my back seat folds open. Some say it's a death trap, but hey, I'm cool, daddy-o. I got a real pretty dashboard and I was the foundation for hot rod culture. I bring my owner great joy, and while some say I look like a salty sour pickle in my original green hue, everyone loves pickles.
It's a Jeep?
No.
No. I don't know. Ford bucket?
Yeah, Ford. Yeah, he's got it.
Ford
Yeah, he's
Roadster,
got
yes.
it. Yeah.
All right.
T-bucket.
Dang.
It's good.
You
Hey,
win,
got
and
it. You
I
won. You win. You win.
I think that every Italian American should have their own pizza socks.
Oh, okay,
So
nice.
I got those for
Great.
you.
Pizza socks.
I can
Great.
share those with Robin.
Angie, you should get into the car business. I
I
think
feel like
you
I
should
really
write like
honed in on
you're
those
like the
details.
Jay Peterman of car sales. Like
I was Googling,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of information out there.
There is.
And
There is.
half of it, I was like, what is rack and pinion?
Rack and pinion is
Yeah.
steering.
yeah.
So it's like, well, as opposed to like I have one car that has the old style, like a worm gear, and it looks like a funnel
Yeah.
that's got a thing, and it turns the thing like this. But rack and pinion is just a rack of teeth, and then a gear. And as you turn the gear, the rack moves back and forth.
So it's smoother,
Yes, more
like
accurate.
when you go fast, because
Right.
that car was very fast.
Right. So, like if you've ever driven like an older Ford Mustang or something like that, where you have like the wheel turns like a quarter of a
Yes.
turn before
Yes.
the wheels start actually
My dad
turning.
used to have an old
Right,
Ford
so
Mustang.
that's like a worm gear.
That's a worm gear. And then rack my car has not rack and pinion. It has
Right.
it has
Your
worm
car
gear.
is like go
that's-
lift 1,000 to turn the
Yeah,
wheel
it's-
on that
it's
thing
crazy.
is
Yeah,
Neither of my
crazy.
cars has power steering either. So
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's what you feel the road, and it's like you feel what you're driving. You know what you're. That's why, and that's why I like. That's
You
and
why
you
feel
just have to anticipate
everything
when you're
on
going
the
to
road.
turn. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
gotta call it in.
Get
you
your
know,
flex
after half an hour.
on.
Yeah,
You
right.
give yourself
a
enough time to
workout.
brake and turn because
Yes.
it's not like driving a modern car. Did
It's
you ever
not.
find another rabbit? I know you were looking for one.
No, I actually gave mine away because I loved it so much I just couldn't part with it, and I had a cousin who was kind of in need of a car at the time, so I just
Oh,
gave
that's
it to
at
him,
least,
you
but
know.
it's in the family. It's just,
Somewhere,
yeah.
It's living
That's
its
good.
life.
But I actually call that my rabbit collection. That was my VW collection. It's like I just kept moving the stuff, the parts that I put into it from one car
From
to
one
another.
car to
I
the
would just
next
buy
one.
another car, and I remember swapping the engines one time, and then my neighbor came up, and I had the two of them jacked up next to each other. My neighbor came out drinking a coffee, and he was like, "Are you doing what I think you're doing?"
Change the engine.
I love that you do it yourself too.
Yeah. I've always,
I mean, you
always
kind of
raced on
have to,
cars.
right?
Well, you know, it's a hobby.
It's
you know.
helpful.
Fun. It's definitely a hobby. It's fun. It's fun to put something together. I feel like, especially I don't know, but if you
it's like
feel
any hobby. You read about it.
Yeah.
You always, you know, Robin
Yeah.
knows I'm always like got my nose in the tablet
Yeah.
looking up car stuff, and
you still have the Indy car simulator.
I do have a little
Yeah.
simulator at home.
That's so
yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah.
So cool.
What's that?
It's like well, they can tell you.
Computer racing.
Oh.
But it's you feel like you're really
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you know,
ish.
ish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, it's like it's like flight simulator for
Yeah.
cars.
That's cool.
And you can go racing, you know, which is fun.
It's
And you don't have
safe.
to die.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
That's what I was gonna say.
exactly.
It's a lot
You don't hit the
safer.
wall going 300
a
miles
lot
an hour.
safer.
You go, you know, see?
Oh, just hit reset.
Yeah,
It's
right.
good.
Watch
Yeah,
the,
I'm good.
Watch the replay, you know.
Oh, that's,
I
I'm
love
surprised you don't have one of those yet.
So we don't have room.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
One day when we move to Jersey.
That's
One day
it.
we move to Jersey.
It's all
one of these
happening
days.
out there, I'm telling you.
I know.
That's where you
I
get
know.
space. You can get your simulator and
know.
a garage that you can actually walk around in when the car's in it.
Oh, dude, it's nice to have a place to work on the car.
Yeah.
At least with the 32 in there, I can actually
Yeah.
work on some things in the garage. But yeah, like you said, if I got to take the front end apart, it's got to be outside.
Yeah.
So if I need to get something done, it has to be in a day,
Right.
and then the weather has to be good.
Right,
Otherwise,
right.
it's like
Yeah, you can't do it.
the car's in pieces. You're like, okay, so I guess we're getting wet.
Right. Yeah.
My
That's
favorite
not
is when I
good.
go to the garage and Brian's sitting in the car and he put a TV on the wall and he sits in the car and he watches the movie.
It's like a drive-in.
I'm like, we have a house.
Make a little vroom vroom sound.
Yeah, exactly. Watching car shows in the garage.
Dae, thank you so much for being
Oh, well, thanks for
here.
having
Love
me,
you, man.
guys.
So
We're the
welcome.
best.
We could talk all day, man.
I
It's
know.
so good to see you, and thank you so
Yeah.
much for.
Wait, I have
Yeah,
one
it's
last question.
All right.
If you could give people out there a word of advice, like just some advice in following what you love, like stepping off the ledge, doing what they want to do, like just, I mean, you've got to have gotten some good ones in your day.
Yeah, I mean, I think like anything, you just have to get focused on what it is you really
Yeah.
love, and spend time with your family,
Yes.
which is always the most important thing. But that whole thing where if you're doing what you love, you're not really working
Yeah.
is so true.
It
I mean,
is.
that's like, I think, most people don't get to experience that.
Yeah.
So if you can get there, it's a great thing.
Lucky.
Absolutely.
No, We are lucky. Thank you, Dae.
Yeah.
We
Dae
love
Bennett,
you.
everybody. Dae
Thank
Dae
you.
Bennett. Dae Bennett. I love you, man. Thank you for doing this, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come again.
Come again. Thank you. Oh man, Angie, that was great, right?
Yes.
Dae Bennett, man. What a wealth of knowledge. I mean,
No.
it's like not to mention he's Tony Bennett's son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just all his career, his
And the
mindset.
things that he's gone through in his
Yeah.
career, how technology has changed, and
Yeah.
how he's been so much a part of so many amazing records
Yeah.
from so many different phases of that.
No, totally, man. And it was great to hear it from him.
Yeah.
And just so that story about his dad calling him from Japan was just,
Yeah.
just
Relatable.
so relatable.
Yeah.
And like, I love this business, and I love hearing people like that talk about that are so good at what they do.
Well, and I actually think I got one of my best pieces of advice from this
Yeah.
conversation. And that was when you said that Dae said to you, when you guys were in the studio, even Lovato doesn't.
Joe Lovano was like one of the
Lovato?
greatest tenor players of all time.
But even Lovato doesn't get it on the first take. We
Right.
put so much pressure on ourselves
Yeah.
without realizing that nobody gets it right out of the
nobody
gate.
gets this, but we wanted to. Like
Right. Of course.
I mean, like it was when we were going to do those sessions. I was like, boys, wear a suit, wear a tie.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Don't fuck up.
Well, and that's appreciated in that
Yeah.
scenario because Tony was always
But
dressed
we
and
were
ready
like
to
that
rock.
with everybody, but with Tony, more so, and everyone in his whole crew, his whole family, because we know now we've become you know what I mean? It's just like the respect is so huge.
But I thought that to me, like, really just spoke volumes, that people need to realize that it's okay not to get it on the first take. Like, nobody's perfect. It's all a process.
Yeah.
And we so often see, when we look at artists and peers, like the finished product, which is usually perfect, but it's all work, you know, and we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves.
No, most of them have more time than us to get it right, to get it
No,
perfect.
we're doing great.
Yeah, no, I know.
Home run.
Well, it's like that same thing. It's like we were talking about doing a record. Doing a record for a major label. You got 2 weeks in the studio.
Yeah.
You can show up and do your thing, do a couple songs a day, do a song a day, come back. But then when you're spending your own money,
We have 2 hours.
We have 2 hours, guys. All right,
Let's go.
We're gonna do 2 weeks worth of work in 2 hours. We're extremely prepared.
Well, I'm so glad Dae was here. That was really special.
Oh, so love that guy.
Yeah.
Love that guy. And Robin, he brought his beautiful wife, Robin, and then they just been such a
so many amazing times shared in our lives.
Yeah, man, and separately. I love that. Like, there's like you have a whole timeline with Dae, and then I have a whole timeline with Dae, and it's just
Dae's cool.
He's just a cool
He's a
man.
cool guy.
Max is Kansas City. Like, I would have loved to go there.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's
All right.
a wrap on
That's
another
a wrap on
showing
another
off.
episode of Showing
An
Off.
undercover show off. Dae's an undercover show.
Undercover
He's a
show.
show off. He doesn't realize it. He's a show off.
It's a hard question to answer.
Listen, behind the scenes show offs are show offs too.
Exactly.
You make it happen.
Exactly. Helping everybody else show off.
Yeah.
In a proper way.
Yeah. Done deal.
Well, I'm Angie Pontani.
I'm Brian Newman.
Thanks for listening to Showing Off.
It's been great. I'm gonna go toot my horn.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go change my clothes for the next episode.
Shut up. But I am.
Showing Off is brought to you by Base Creatives and produced by Scott Frederick, Ellis Frederick, Sam Fong, Brian Newman, and Angie Pontani. Showing Off is recorded at Brooklyn Podcasting Studios with sound engineer Josh Wilcox. Audio and video post-production editing by Ricky Fernandez. Production coordinator Sam Kuna. Set design by Stephen Hamill. And our theme song, Take Me Back to Brooklyn, is written and performed by yours truly, Brian Newman. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Showing Off Pod for even more content from this week's episode.
And don't forget to leave a rating and review.
Next week, we're thrilled to speak to Broadway actor L. Stephen Taylor, who's been holding down the iconic role of Mufasa on The Great White Way for over 10 years.